What is happening, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to Pandora Network, Pandora Lawn Care's YouTube channel. I post these videos on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the social media platforms. You name it, chances are we're probably on it. But right now, you're probably wondering, why in the world am I using an edger on this driveway instead of backflipping it with my weed eater like I usually do on all the concrete edges? Well, the answer to that is because for this property in particular, the concrete is extremely old. So there's a bunch of rubble and little rocks in between the concrete and the grass. And whenever I flip edge it, oh my God, it's slinging like little BBs hitting me in the face and in the stomach. So I use my edger. And you're also probably wondering why I have this little extension handle on my edger. Because let me tell y'all something. These little $20-something extension handles off Amazon have saved my back dramatically. Saves me in energy. I don't have to walk backwards like I do when I'm flip edging, because that's how I do it. I love these handles. I use them on my weed eaters. I use them on my edgers. And like I said, you can get on Pandora Lawn Care Solutions website. There's a link in the products that'll send you directly to the Amazon page where I purchased the ones that I use. They're, like I said, they're like 20-something bucks, but they will change the game for you, I promise. The best $20-something you'll spend for each one of your trimmers or each one of your edgers. It makes sense to you at first to put them on your edgers, but trust me, it helps, because I don't like to bend my back whenever I'm edging. You see, I've got this white one here on my Echo 2620T, and it helps out dramatically. I can get, in between bushes. I ain't got to bend my back as much. But yeah, what else do I want to talk about? Shoot, there's still a bunch of time left in this video. I didn't really plan this one out too much. Just kind of got bored. Most of the time, I do not park in customers' driveways, but because this driveway is so long, they park their cars in the garage. So I park my truck and trailer in the driveway because here in Grand Bay, that road stays pretty busy. And I don't like parking on the side of the road on that road, strictly because of traffic and, the least amount of chances for something to go wrong. Also, these little cracks that you see in the concrete, if you're a landscaper or a lawn care guy and you service people's properties, you see that there's a little bit of grass and weeds growing in between the cracks of the concrete, driveways, sidewalks, whatever. Get them with your dang weed eater. Don't just leave them. Don't just spray them with some weed killer and haul butt. The first thing you do, hit them with the weed eater, and then come back and hit them with some weed killer. Just make sure you don't get too close to the grass that's growing along the outside of the concrete, because that weed killer will spread into the lawn and it will kill the customer's grass. But make sure you get those weeds and grass that grows in the concrete. Just be careful not to sling no rocks. Up in this ditch is an extremely steep hill, so I couldn't get it with my lawnmower. I just used my weed eater, clean it up real nice and neat, and yeah. What else do I want to talk about? Getting kind of bored. Around these bushes, I get them pretty good. Watch out for fruit, because fruit will hit you in the face. Don't be one of those guys that cuts grass on properties that's got a bunch of bushes and trees like this and goes around them but doesn't come back to weed eat them. I weed eat around each and everything that I mow around, but don't be one of those guys. I actually do know guys that are like that, especially on commercial properties. They'll just leave them things for like a couple weeks to a month at a time, and they'll only do them once every 2 months or so. Instead of doing them every service, just go ahead, do them every service. Get that little workout in, that little extra walking in, and yeah, I make sure the string on the weed eater is spinning, the normal direction, so it's slinging all the debris kind of back towards the tree. It kind of turns it into mulch, somewhat like mulch, and it helps that tree with its growth and all that good stuff. See all these bushes? I go one direction and make sure all the trimmings get slung back under the bushes. Helps it with the growth. Right here, I don't know if I come back and flip edge this again. Yeah, there you go, buddy. But I flip edge a little bit, especially in those cracks. I flip edge most of the time whenever I'm doing concrete, because it's got a crispier edge to it. Something about flip edging is just so much nicer than it is using a normal edger. Edgers are for if you're trying to get that deep cut, you know, those first-time service customers or those one-time service customers. If you've got customers whose grass grows like a freaking chia pet, then yeah, use your edgers. But if you got them scheduled for weekly or bi-weekly, use your edger the first of the month, and then the next time or the next 2 times you come, flip edge it with your weed eater. It's a lot faster. For some reason, I feel like I work faster when I walk backwards and flip edge. You might be a little different. That's just how I do it, you know. That's just how I got good at it. These fence lines like this, old fence lines that you see, try to stay off of them as much as you can with your weed eater string, especially if you're using like 0.105 string, like thick string that's pretty tough, because old picket fences like this, you will destroy them with your weed eater. Ask me how I know. I've replaced quite a few boards. If you rewind this video and go back, you see a couple boards that I've replaced over the past few years for this customer, because my string will end up cutting those boards in half. I think one time I might have bumped one with my mower or something, but believe it or not, I have cut old thin privacy fences like that in half because the boards on the bottom are rotted. And yeah, you kind of got to be careful. So hit it at like a 45-degree angle with your weed eater and get that crisp, nice, clean edge. And just be careful not to break no boards. I think a couple weeks after I serviced this customer, I came back and pressure washed her sidewalk in the driveway. And man, let me tell you something. It took a little bit of time, but boy, did it look good. Whenever you're leaf blowing and whenever you're blowing all your trimmings back into the property, make sure you get the cracks, y'all. Everything that you edged on the outside of the concrete, go ahead and try to blow it out. You know, get it out of those edges so those edges look crisp and look clean. You don't want to repack those edges with a bunch of dust and dirt and trimmings and all that bull crap that you know what I'm saying? Don't repack those edges. You want them to look clean and look pretty deep. I do have some customers whose concrete, the water, when it rains, it runs down the concrete and it'll refill those edges. So every time I go to their property, sometimes I have to use my edger every time I service them because they'll fill up with mud and stuff like that. So as a lawn care guy, as a landscaper, you want your customer's property to look 100%. You know, you want it to look good. So if you got to pull out that edger every time, then it just is what it is. But that's about it. That's about all I got for y'all. If you got any questions or anything, just feel free to, shoot me a message. And remember, y'all, if it's growing,